When you were in the NBA, you had a lot of criticism there for a while.
Oh, absolutely.
Where it was David can't win the championship. David he's soft. He just Hakeem is better, or Shaquille O'Neal is better, or there was just a lot of that criticism there.
All very sharp barbs that to this day still hurt when you say them.
I'm sorry.
No, but those are things you face. You question yourself. I mean, you question your abilities, your competence, your everything about you. I mean, that's the challenge. How do you overcome that? How do you begin to put that stuff aside and say, no, they're wrong. They're wrong. I can achieve what I want to achieve.
Even then, when you were getting those sorts of complaints, did you still feel like you really shouldn't speak it and that you really didn't have a whole lot to complain about in comparison to George Washington Carver?
Absolutely. I think part of it was tuning a lot of it out.
Okay.
That's a real key. You can't continue to listen to the foolishness. That's kind of the first step, is when people are criticizing you, put yourself in a position where you can kind of move that aside and focus on the positive, focus on what needs to get done. And that's what I did in my career. As people would criticize me, I would understand, hey, they're not me. They don't step out there on the court and do the things that I do. People can say you're soft all you want, but I'm the guy who has to go play against Hakeem. I'm the guy who has to go play against Shaquille. So in my mind, I knew that it was people without experience, without my understanding, talking about it.
Did you ever want to call some of those sports commentators and point out to them that they, in fact, were soft?
Many times.
Okay.
I thought to myself, when I would see someone who particularly criticized me, I would say to myself, I'd love to see this guy out there get elbowed in the head by, Karl Malone. Yeah, we'll see how you respond to it then. Yeah. So, but it's easy to talk. It's easy for everyone to talk. People, that's what they do best.
Okay.
So, I think the first step is really putting that stuff aside, getting out from underneath the mound of foolishness.
Now, principle number 2 is we want to be a part of the solution, not just this chorus of complaints. And I thought that what George Washington Carver was able to do is that he wanted African Americans to be free financially and free in the true sense of the word.
Right.
Now, it's easy to say that, and it's easy to look that, hey, the African Americans are now basically farming cotton. And the soil's depleted, and oh no, the soil's depleted. Oh, we're all farming cotton. See, this is a bad. We could talk about that. He could have talked about it.
Right. Absolutely.
But instead, he got to work, rolled up his sleeves, and got to work. Can you explain a little bit about what work he did?
Yeah. Well, at the time, cotton was the cash crop, and it was an easy way to make money for. Not necessarily the farmers. Now, the farmers who were doing the work didn't necessarily make the money, but it was an easy way for kind of the overseers, the people around, to the white people to make the money. So the farmers really didn't do well on cotton. But not only that, the cotton destroyed the land. It sucked all of that nitrogen out of the land. So within 6 or 7 years, that land would become dry and really unfarmable. So Carver, instead of sitting there complaining about our plight and we don't have any power and we can't do this and we are stuck in our situations, we're all just farmers and we can't make any money, Carver said, well, what's the solution? We need to grow some crops that, not just the crops that are profitable for those people, but we need to grow some crops that will replenish the land and create a market for those crops that we do grow. So he said, hey, you know what? The best crops in replenishing that nitrogen are peanuts and sweet potatoes. So let's plant those. And people said, oh, peanuts? Well, that's trash. That's a weed. Why would we plant peanuts? Nobody wants a peanut. So he went about the process of saying, well, peanuts have a tremendous use. They're full of protein, and they're a fantastically healthy thing to eat. He made meat out of peanuts, and people said, what is this we're eating? He said, it's a meat made out of peanuts. And so he was incredibly creative in the way that he thought about it.
It's amazing how he saw the need for nitrogen in the soil. Well, first he saw that, hey, we as a people are depleting our land. We need to find a way to make our land more fruitful.
Right.
Then he decided that, okay, well, we need to put more nitrogen in the soil. I'm going to make a list of these plants that do that.
Right.
Then he invented all of the uses
for the plants.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, absolutely.
It's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. It was incredibly creative. But, here he took a problem, a real challenge, an oppressive challenge.
Yeah.
It was oppressive for a lot of people. So it was a monumental challenge, and he got out from underneath the mound of criticism and complaints and said, "This is what we can do." So being a part of the solution is a real key to overcoming adversity. So being a part of the solution is a real key to overcoming adversity.